Well, it has been quite interesting. I mean, this is the first time we are going full online in the sense that it's not blended. Everybody is at their different locations and they are connecting and accessing learning resources, and at the same time, in some cases, doing real-time lecture. That means virtual, direct virtual classrooms. Yeah, it started yesterday. Although at the initial instant when we started, it was a bit difficult. Not difficult in that sense, but what I mean is that we had high traffic because all the students thought that they should all be present at the same time on the platform. So that was a bit of a challenge. But since then, we're able to now improve on the experience. And since yesterday, it has been a nice experience. Students have been accessing their resources. Lecturers have been now uploading their resources, and some have taught online and real time. Of course, we had to train them. It was part of the plan. And you know, we've been planning about this for more than 7-8 months. So it wasn't just starting all of a sudden. We had a plan. We all thought about the needs. So we trained them for a whole 1 week. We were training the lecturers. And even the second week before the full resumption, we also trained some lecturers again. So we had quite a number of trainings to prepare them for this. And we also had different tutorial videos that we shared with them for them to also do self-paced learning to know how to use the resources. Yeah, of course, the students are familiar with the platform already because 2 semesters ago we started GST online, and all students from year 1 to year 4 have had experience with this platform, so they are familiar. So what we just did for them is to do a video lecture for them so that can also kind of remind them of how to use the platform, how to get the resources. But for the students, that is not much of a challenge. The first problem with the students is concerning the login access. And the problem is they don't use their institutional email often. So many of them have forgotten their password. And so for them to have access, they must use their institutional email as their ID. And so that was the problem. So many of them had to seek to reset. And also they are supposed to be able to reset their password by themselves. But, you know, following instructions, when the accounts were created for them, they were meant to put their details like phone number and alternate email address, so that in case they forgot their password, they can actually click on a button and they can self-reset the password. But most of them didn't follow the instructions. So that was why they were complaining about access. But at the early hours of yesterday, because they were all taught that they should be present online by 8 a.m., there was huge traffic. So there was latency at that period. But around 10, I think things stabilized. We were able to stabilize the system around 10:30, 11, and that things have been better. So apart from that, I don't think there are other complaints as such from students. The major complaints are those that have forgotten their password and trying to reset their password. Other few complaints we had is, okay, I registered for 10 courses, I'm not seeing the 10 courses on the elements. Those ones are things that will be managed because they are still doing add and delete. So they are still changing the registration. So we told them that by 2nd of February, because add and delete will end by 31st of January. So 2 days after, we're going to update their courses on the LMS, and they should be able to see the real picture of what they register for. Okay, thank you. We need to understand the differences. There are platforms for meetings or just online interaction meetings. So that is not what online learning is all about. So we have different platforms for meetings. So you can use them to have your meetings. You can also use them to teach. You understand? Now, when we talk about learning management system is a platform that houses all of learning content and can direct to other platforms that are meant for learning or meetings. So the LMS is for them to connect to their courses, and from there they can also be linked up to a Zoom room or to a Google Meet room or to a Microsoft Team room or to a Big Blue Button room, any virtual room where they can have real-time lecture. But beyond real-time lecture, the LMS also houses all learning context like like PDF files, video files, PowerPoint files. And apart from that, it also gives them access to submit their assignments, and they can write quizzes, tests, both essay, multiple choice question, all these things they can do on the platform. So which is not possible with all those meeting rooms, all those Zooms, virtual meeting rooms. So that is why the LMS is beyond meeting rooms. It houses several things and also gives access to meeting rooms. Yeah, conducting the exam online is not new. It has happened all over the world within the past 10 months. So it's not new. There are several resources needed. You understand? It depends on how far you can kind of employ technology to do things for you based on the resources you have. So what is important, because when you talk about the exam, the integrity of the exam is very key. You understand? And so what is important is the question we can be asking, how do you, let me use the term we use in normal physical exam, how do you invigilate? But when it comes to virtual exam, we call it proctoring. How do you proctor the exam? That is the question we're asking. So that is where we need to invest more. There are several technologies. People have done several work. And I have written an exam online during the pandemic before, a professional exam, and that was proctored. It was an international exam. And I've also conducted exams for people also during the pandemic that we also proctored. We're able to monitor what they are doing. So it's not a problem to write the exam online, but we must invest in the right technologies to proctor the exams and ensure that the integrity of the exams are preserved. Maybe I should call it the way what I refer to as tech hubs. Yeah, that is a way of bringing students together to learn about different technologies. And when they learn, the first thing is they learn to know. Then they can now design solutions to problems. That means they take different problems, the technology of learned and other technologies, combine it together, design a solution. That is the idea behind tech hubs. And when they do that, they do the solution, it can go into different stages, prototyping. Eventually, it can, if it's something that is meaningful, that can go into incubation, they go into incubation, eventually it becomes a product. Understand? Yeah. The fact that we cannot meet physically does not stop it. So with all the virtual meeting platforms, we can as well train them. They can as well meet in groups and still design their solution. There are different tools now that allow that to happen. So you don't need to be together in this physical place before you can work together. So different platforms are available to that. So we are not relaxing. We are just taking it one step at a time, so that when we solve the issue of online learning first, then we resume our tech hubs and we get our students moving and becoming, creators, innovators. Yeah. There are several things there, and let me use this opportunity to say that we are hoping to people that can assist, because public institutions will need a lot of assistance because we are not really generating income as such. You understand? The first thing is connectivity. It's still a challenge. Take it or leave it. It's still a challenge. If I want to be virtual 24/7, I'm going to spend a lot of money, a gigabyte of data that I'm going to use. So connectivity is still a challenge, and not just connectivity. Fast internet. So that is still one. But the university is trying a lot. But the problem is students cannot come to campus. On campus, we are doing a lot of things to improve on the connectivity, and we are getting good results. But it's still the period of pandemic. Students cannot come to use the internet. They have to depend on the internet from their telcos wherever they are. So, and we all know some of these things, how they are on and off at times.